Ooh, ladies first, ladies first. 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 Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, Danae. And yes, that was the channel message, the channel music message today. Don't know why. I really don't. Maybe because today we're doing a pick a card flower edition. And these beauties right here are just so femininely fabulous, if I do say so myself, and I'm sure you would agree. So delicate in nature, blossoming, so fully. They're daisies, some type of daisies, I don't know exactly which, but they're just so lovely aesthetically, to the sight. And I felt guided today to do a pick a card. And I'm pretty much going to do a pile 1 and a pile 2, but in connection to the colors of the flowers that you see here. So we got white and we got pink. Ladies first. Don't know if this is just for the ladies exclusively, although most of my messages are, I'm a feminine, what can I do? A lot of how I speak and how I perceive and project energy, although I reach for a universal perspective, sometimes it can be very much more leaning in the feminine projection. I know you would agree, and I'm unapologetic about it. So in any event, I hope that you can relate, because as I always like to say, even as masculines, we still have both energies within us, feminine and masculine, and as feminines, the same. So the messages are not so much related to gender as they are to the prominent energy that you connect with. So anyway, without further ado, what I'm gonna do here is get out of here. Get out of here. All right, so we got my pile of cards here. I'm gonna move these up just a bit. All right, hold on. How do I want to do this? Because I got to make sure I timestamp this correctly. So anyway, we got the white and the pink. I guess how they're situated here, I'm going to do white first and then pink. Now, what I will say about the white just off the top is that, so I guess this will be kind of like the intro, or idealizing which pile you might relate to based on the flower. So the white is more about purity, innocence, cleanliness. It's a clean slate in a sense, cleansing, releasing, almost being back to square one in a sense with white energy in general, just off the top. With the pink energy is definitely in the space of self-love, love in general, I would say, but given they're a more vibrant pink, almost like a fuchsia, this is like a highly passionate self-love. So maybe an aggressive self-love and also motherly love. But in this regard, if it's not external one to another or outside to in, it's very much so an internal nurturing, so maybe this is like a soft love and this is an aggressive love in a sense, and it could change based on how the energies play out, but let's just see how it rolls. I just love the flowers, honestly. They're beautiful to me, and I thought I'd share and incorporate it in the reading, and it makes sense to do so because I haven't done a pick a card in a while, or pick a pile. So what I'm gonna do now is split the deck as evenly as I can. These have been well shuffled. Okay, it's a little bit uneven, but I think that's okay. I'm not gonna manipulate it. All right, so now I invite you to pick your pile. Move this down. Pile 1 is the white flower here. Pile 2 is the pink flower. There. All right. And I still see this little bug flying around, so just act like you don't if you do. All right, so here we go. I hope you can still see the white flowers just in the corner. I think you can. Let me see. Yep, perfect. Okay. All right. Pile 1, white flower. This is your message. Ooh, beautiful. We got the Empress card. I think I'm gonna try to keep it short and sweet, so I don't know, we'll see. That may move. I might just go straight across, especially since the flowers are taking up the frame. But the Empress card is pretty self-explanatory. For if you know, you know, but if you don't, that's the most powerful and prominent queen in the deck. She's all the queens wrapped up in one. An indication of fertility, creativity, limitless creativity at that. Okay, we got the King of Swords kind of turned on his side a little strangely. Let's see how this plays out. All right. It's the Queen of Cups that want to turn over. King of Swords in the upright is honorable, trustworthy, direct in his communication. What else is he? Integral, very intelligent. Well, here we go. Oh, geez. And the Queen of Cups came back out too. All right. Okay, pile 1. And we spoke of pile 1 with the white flower in the way of a soft self-love. What is that? Like soft life? Is that what's coming up? I don't know. Let's see. All right. Yeah. So we got this Empress here who's sitting pretty well situated on her throne. And we got the King of Swords who would be upright, but he's looking back at some decisions that he made with some disdain. I can only imagine that it's on account or in connection to this Empress. Looking back at the past with regret, there's some energetic imbalance, and now the energetic imbalance has now progressed into the 10 of Wands, which is, I just feel like, are these flowers in the way? I don't want to get up again. The 10 of Wands, which is burden. It is the completion of a burdensome cycle. However, there's quite a bit of impact that's been incurred on account of some decisions that have been made or some mismanagement of energy. You know, perhaps he made an invested decision, because the King of Swords is like a strong decision maker. You know, he's very certain in what he decides, you know, what he yields to as truth, and how he wields that sword in his powers of choice. Now, that doesn't always mean it's the most integral decision. It just means it's a strong, definite one. You know, now we would hope that a king in the upright would make powerful decisions that are intelligent, that are honorable, that are made in integrity. But why would there be some regret for that decision? Or perhaps that, you know, he made the best decision with the intelligence that he had, the intel, the information that he had at the time, on account of an Empress or in connection to an Empress. but ultimately he is not, he's not happy with the outcome, perhaps the burden that came along with the decision that he made strongly. And now we got the Queen of Cups here. What's the Queen of Cups saying? So it's like we got the Empress, and then, oh, because this is the loving Queen. Yeah, this is about a relationship decision. He made a decision. I got it. He made a decision, a strong decision based on what he projected to be the most productive choice, the most powerful, there it is, the most powerful choice, that something that could advance his position, as opposed to making a decision based on love and emotions and spirit. Okay, this is a love reading. Got it. Well, self-love in a sense, but this is in alignment. This is the white flower. Purity. His decision wasn't made in the pureness of spirit and of love. It was made in the perception of power. And ultimately, yeah, because this is all wand energy. He went with the choice that he felt would ultimately elevate him or exalt his position of power based on his logic. Yeah, because the King of Swords is a bit detached. You know, he doesn't necessarily make decisions from an emotional place or even a passionate place. He kind of runs all the facts and figures and numbers and whatever makes logical sense based off of what he's experienced, based off of what he can see, you know, based off of the data and maybe perhaps his own intelligent inference of possibility. With all that taken into account, he made a decision and took action on account of that intel. And it was for an Empress, or perhaps, you know, I don't know about this Empress, because if the decision was made on account of who he thought would be most productive and powerful and in alignment with him, which in actuality, this is a mismatch, because the King of Swords is not really in alignment with the Empress, so-called. So it's already giving me, what are we doing here? Now, the King of Swords could be in alignment with the Queen of Cups. They're on the same vibration, more or less. You know, he may be a bit more cerebral and she's a bit more emotional, but there's room for that. You know, as I said, masculine, feminine energy, opposites attract. We balance each other out. There's an opportunity for there to be a synergy of passion and power between those two different forces. But here, this is like two energies on different pages, you know, in two different kingdoms, perhaps, because the Empress is married to the Emperor. The King of Swords, first of all, in tarot, is an implication of someone who usually is divorced or separated from his partner, you know. So at best, even if there's an alignment with the Queen of Swords, she's not even on the board at this time, you know, but that would be the most ideal partnership. Or perhaps that was a relationship that didn't really work out, as sometimes the Queen and King of Swords can be, because they're both a little bit emotionally detached. And there was a possibility of being more in alignment with the spiritual and loving nature of self, or at least balancing that force that is lacking here with the King of Swords, but that wasn't the choice he made. So with this Nine of Swords, he's still looking back and trying to bring an end to this cycle of burden and struggle, as it's coming to an end one way or another, but with what in regard? More of the past? So ultimately, and what I'm seeing here, especially if you are the feminine, because what did I say? The song was ladies first, right? So if he didn't make the proper choice initially, and he's coming here, so what I'm seeing is that this is the end of the cycle from where he came from, this choice that he made, But what's he bringing on his back to your kingdom but burdens? Everything that, all the drama and the struggle that he more or less is still juggling because he hasn't put it down. The Ten of Wands is burdens that we willingly carry, that we could easily release, with just the intention to do so, or decision. Again, King of Swords, decision to do so, but it hasn't been released because he's still looking back at how he failed, or how this relationship didn't pan out to be exactly what he wanted it to be, or he just feeling regret and remorse for just taking the wrong chance, or taking a chance that didn't necessarily yield the most favorable outcome. And even now, if there is some change of heart, literally, but it's really a change of mind and change of action or intention with the King of Swords, because it's not the King of Cups. It's a bit of a mismatch to bring all of this energy to the Queen of Cups, a loving queen, a nurturing queen. She is spiritually in alignment, spiritually intuitive, surrendered to her spiritual self. It's unfair for her to carry all of this anxiety and trouble that has nothing to do with her. So the message very clearly is ladies first, meaning you put yourself first. If it's not pure love and affection, that you, and pure in the sense that it's well-meaning from the source, this being the King of Swords, it's not like this is giving me ulterior motive. He's looking to escape and find some relief for his mismanagement, for his misfortunes here in this connection, which was mismatched ultimately. That's not really an expression of pure love. That's opportunistic. That's an ambition for a better opportunity. Literally ambition with the wand energy. And now seeing the error of past experiences, and remember, he's the King of Swords, very smart. He did the calculations. He knows it's much better to go with someone who is purely love, as the Queen of Cups is, the most loving queen in the deck, than it is to go for something that appears to be purely powerful. There's definitely a difference here. And there is potential to grow with any vibration. The Empress, of course, in the highest is magnificent, but only if she truly is an Empress, or I should say the Empress for you as the masculine, or whomever, we're talking about energies here. If it's not the Empress assigned to you in your partnership, it's never going to truly align, which is why he's the King of Swords. Again, as I said, someone who ultimately has a propensity to be detached from emotional commitment, especially from an Empress who's just on a whole nother level. So even if she is upright in her own regard, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's the best relationship choice for him. And he's obviously gotten a chance to see that, but now having had that experience and gained the wisdom of it, he wants to make a different choice. But the discernment truly is up to you, and your emotional intelligence, and you really connecting with your higher self to decide if that is worth, if that's more burden than blessing for you. This could be someone that you would have ideally wanted to be in partnership with. Remember, we are still in Mercury retrograde. Venus just went direct the 4th or the 3rd. I can't remember which one, but I want to say it was the 4th, which was just yesterday, right? So she's just getting back. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Thank you, Spirit. That's what the love energy is for. Now I get it. Okay. So she's just revving back up. Also, Jupiter just went, is it today? I think Jupiter went retrograde yesterday. So maybe Venus went direct on the 3rd. I don't know. I'm kind of mixing up the dates, but somewhere in between the last few days is when those two have flip-flopped energy. And I'll talk about Jupiter another time. But to keep us on track here, it's your decision, it's your call to make as to who you get to connect with. They could bring all the passion in the world to your front door, but if it's not pure, it'll be yet another misalignment. But in this case, it will be your accountability, considering that I'm speaking to the Queen of Cups here. That's who I feel like I'm speaking to. Because we said ladies first, right? Well, I said ladies first. Considering the Queen of Cups is in the power position here because she's in the position to receive or not to receive. Just as plain and simple. So she can say yes, she could say yay, or she could say nay, okay? I would say, some readers don't like to impose their opinion, but in this regard, yeah, I would, that's crazy how that just turned over. I know you've seen it. I would say it's a nay for me. It's a no for me, dog, because not with all this baggage. That's literally baggage. And when you are aligned with anyone personally, professionally, energetically, platonically, intimately, it really doesn't matter what the nature of this perspective of partnership may be. It's not, you ultimately take on the burdens of that person. Just like you take on, if you have two people and one has bad credit and you get married, you take on that person's credit history. It affects you now in a sense because now you're a united front. You're a union, so it works energetically all the same, if not more so, because you could even file separately as a married couple if you need to, or whatever. I'm not well versed in that, obviously, but there are ways that I'm sure you could skirt around being completely absorbed by your partner's misfortunes or, poor financial stature in some regard. But energy is contagious. So if you got somebody coming to your door claiming to offer you love and passion, but it's tainted with all the disdain that they still hold for the past and where they've gone wrong, but they haven't actually healed, let alone taken accountability, because that's what the Nine of Wands always gives me, is that he hasn't even taken accountability for his own participation in his misfortune. He hasn't taken responsibility for how he's mismanaged his own energy. He's just looking back at how he, could have done something different to ultimately come out better. But it's not healing. That's why his head is bandaged up, because there is mental and energetic instability here. So if somebody's coming to the table looking like the King of Swords, like he's honorable, he's valiant, he's he's honest, he's upright, but he's got all this in the background, now that becomes yours. That all that energy goes into your cup and you drink it up. So you be the judge. But if it's up to me, the judgment's already been called, as it's been called on this mismatch here, that the spirit is not really for this being an alignment. It would just be a matter of you overriding the spirit, as it's already, been judged and been decided that the Queen of Cups deserves pure love. So you can override the spirit, the sole source of all that has made a judgment call, and take accountability and responsibility for that override. You have the authority to do that, for sure. But I don't think it would be wise. That wouldn't be the purest projection of self-love. You deserve more than that. Than to be somebody's sloppy seconds, second thought, afterthought, rebound, for sure. Or, like you're the gift of God. Look at this. Yeah, and exactly. Exactly. You are the gift. And I will put this here because that's just what I feel. You are the gift. You don't deserve heartbreak. When you are a gifting to the universe and of the universe, and there's so, it's like there's an offering to have the fullness of love. This is what this is represented, something that is whole and complete as you have presented yourself to be in some way, shape, or form. There's no justification for regressing back into anything that could even potentially cause heartbreak or bring you back into cycles of trauma and toxicity, because that's what this is. This is a judgment call on what's been toxic in some way, shape, or form. That's why he's so affected by it. It's the end of a toxic cycle if he allows it to be, but what he's ultimately trying to do is pick up that transfer that toxic cycle onto you. And it may not even necessarily be like diabolically so, like, oh, I'm gonna come bring all my hurts and pains to her. But it's even in the most upright, considering the King of Swords actually means well. It's just someone that hasn't healed, as I said. So all this heartbreak, all this betrayal, this disappointment that he feels and has not healed from, now imagine that disrupting your Ace of Pentacles, this gift from God. This is pure. This is toxic. It's a no. All right, let's get a few more, and then I'm gonna ride on to the pink flowers. And I'm feeling guided to say, the purity is, and I was just literally thinking it. The purity of it all is to be encouraged. Go ahead and stay blocked. You know what I mean? You have the right to not feel obligated, because the Queen of Cups is very loving. She's very nurturing. She can sometimes be, I won't say manipulated, because she is the queen, which is why there's this block here, this like, nah, I'm good. Or it can also be a crossroads, but I'm seeing it as literally blocking this energy from coming forth. She can be loving in the sense that she can be incited to love. You know how those energies are, that want to love and want to give, and that's her. She love is her language in general. All of them, all the languages of love are wrapped up in her being, and she looks to be of service in that way by offering herself as a loving vessel to those that need it. In the lower vibration, she can often self-sacrifice herself for the sake of others and for the sake of nurturing others. In the highest vibration, she's very reserved and conservative about whom she shares her love with, which is exactly what this energy is here. And that's how it should be. So don't feel, just because you see a need, or you see even the desire, could be a strong desire for healing and nurturing and connection and relationship. Someone that really can pull on your heartstrings and make you feel like, oh, he just needs to be loved, or she just needs a hug, or whatever. It could ultimately be to your own detriment here. You cannot see the ways in which you could be affected by just a simple hug, or just a simple conversation even, or just a, God forbid, a roll in the hay, a little rendezvous. And now all of that energy is now attached to you. Hell no. Hell no. Do not feel incited or guilted is what I'm hearing. Like there could be energy coming, because this is also an offering. It could even be a proposal, with the Ace of Pentacles. Sometimes I forget to say that it could literally be someone offering you something as big as long-term commitment. Or it just could be something attached to this toxicity. So him coming to the table and offering you something that looks good, looks like gold, looks almost heaven sent, but behind it is a whole bunch of burden and heartbreak, which ultimately will lead you into a place of being stuck and stagnant from a place where you were free and loving. So this is, like I said, spinning you back into toxic cycles that ultimately if you had to have liberated yourself from in some way, shape, or form to operate the throne of the Queen of Cups, who's very self-loving and externally loving. It's a two-way street for her. But again, in the highest vibration and in the highest integrity, she knows that sometimes some people don't deserve that love. Not everybody deserves the best of you. Not everybody knows what to do with it. Not everybody means well by it or by you. Not everybody is here to exchange it, or is even has the capacity to exchange it, to reciprocate it. Even if this is this is the purest of intentions in terms of what is desirable for this King of Swords, it still doesn't mean that he has the capability. He's emotionally unavailable at this time. So how is he going to love a Queen of Cups who's going to pour out from her soul without even a question, because that's just what she does? How is he going to return that energy? He's not able to. Even if he wanted to, it's not possible. So it's just another message to stay in that purity of love. Don't get finessed. Don't feel like you owe anybody love because that's what you do, or that's what you even like to do, or that you feel guilted or shamed that withholding your love in some way, shape, or form is ungodly, or something's going to be withheld from you if you're conservative or have strong boundaries, or even selective, highly selective. You should be. You have the right to be. Hold fast to those boundaries, because those boundaries are ultimately going to keep you safe. This is what this is. This is like, sometimes I see her as like a samurai warrior who, you're not getting through there unscathed. You might think that she doesn't see you coming, or she's unarmed, or vulnerable, I should say, because she's clearly armed, right? But she's vulnerable because she can't necessarily see because she has a blindfold on, or she's sitting out in the middle of nowhere looking like she's unprotected or whatever. But someone who walks in the way of love is already protected spiritually. Love is the most protective force there is, especially when you know how to love yourself, because that means that you are not in this energy where you don't feel like you can make strong decisions, which is another aspect of this card, where you're at a crossroads and there's a decision to make and you're resistant, or you feel unable or unequipped to make a powerful choice. No, it's the opposite here. She's very much so equipped, able, and willing. Well, I hope that you are. That's definitely the encouragement here today, the invitation to stay in this position where you keep your boundaries strong, not in a way that you close your heart. There's a difference. You can still have an open heart, but still be protective of your energy. It's very possible, which is why I feel like this is like a two-way street here. Just as protective as you can be, is as open as you can be on the inside, having that soft center. Is it soft to be soft on the inside and hard on the outside, or hard on the outside, soft on? It's one of them where there's a balance between the two, where I think it's soft inside, because I don't think you would want to be soft. Or no, I think it's very internal. Yeah, it is. But the internal hardening is not in the sense that you don't allow anyone in or allow any love out. It's just to be protective. So you can still be just as feminine. Yeah, that's what it is. You can be as feminine and loving, expressive of love, and graceful as you feel called to be in the feminine energy. As the Empress is here, definitely an expression of that. And again, the loving queen, she is the object of affection. You can feel safe to express the essence of you without feeling like you have to be physically protective, like, hard on the outside. That's the difference, where you literally are more masculine, and it's a defense mechanism, because you don't know who's out to get you based on past experiences, or even if advances come your way and there's offerings that are made, it doesn't mean that you got to cut people off at the kneecaps unless you feel guided to, and then by all means go ahead. But you don't have to do that in order to still express protection for yourself on the inside. It just means having strong boundaries, divine alignment, so that you keep your discernment empowered, and trusting your intuition, trust in the decisions that you're making to be protective of what is ultimately the most precious part of you, which is very internal, your spirit, and intangible in the same regard. All right, so I'm gonna get a couple more, because I see my incense burning down. I didn't even get to the but this is gonna be a little longer. Yeah, this is you knowing what to do. This is good, strong, and also being mindful of the temptation of that male phallic, however appealing and tempting it may be, that sometimes lust, ultimately, what I heard as a correction very quickly, can sometimes be misinterpreted as love if you're not operating in the purest vibration, which we're talking about purity, right? And that was almost the 5 of Cups, that's too many, which is about despair and depression. So again, you could have a lustful night. I think I even said something about that. Rolling the hay could turn into a miserable next day. Bars. Or shoot, a miserable life. Yeah, look, this is karma. You see how these cards just are flipping out? It's like, wow. This is karma right here, where this wheel can turn in your favor as you protect yourself from unjustifiable temptation, from the connection to ones that have been a no-go in spirit, and only being in alignment with those that have been divined, ordained, anointed to be in connection with you. This is someone that literally wants to plug into your source of vitality and power, and it's up to you to make the decision. Are you with it or not? You know what I mean? You got to consider all the costs, before you even consider making the investment, because the wheel of fortune here is just a matter of one poor choice that can turn this wheel, with all the investing that you've done in yourself and loving yourself and ascending and transcending and healing. Also is the white energy with the white flowers. It's about healing energy, very much so in alignment with the Queen of Cups. She's been working on her internal, which is ultimately self-love. We're talking about serving self and nurturing self and overcoming past experiences, finding the value in them, and putting that intel into different play. Guarding yourself from any possibility of reoccurring toxic cycles. That's what this energy is here. It literally is falling under the 2 choices: heartbreak or divine gift. Someone that's bringing you sadness and sorrow, and someone that's bringing you a divine commitment, a long-term commitment that is ordained, that's ordained by God. That's the choice that needs to be made in the most powerful sense. And it's saying that you are equipped to make that choice. The Spirit has empowered you to make that choice affirmatively. So don't go with your instinct. If you feel it could look good, it could look great, and it could evoke all types of memories of the past and what used to be, and even thinking about what could have been, and you could really be tempted to want to explore the possibility of something that was a missed opportunity before, and maybe even looks like it's evolved or come in a different package. But you just got to make sure that it actually is. Like, I'm hearing, try the spirit. That's what this energy is. Like, try the spirit. Be patient. Give it time. Give people time to really to really express themselves. You know, as I'm hearing, love is an action word. It's not, this is an action card, and definitely in connection, but just as clearly as you can see someone's love intentions, as clearly as you can see their lustful intentions. Your spirit knows, your intuitive intelligence, your emotional intelligence knows when you're being valued for the true essence of you purely, or for the potential of, you know, what your love or your energy or spirit brings in terms of prosperity, and again, even sensation, you know, even satisfaction. There will be a clear difference, and if your heart and mind and soul is not purified to perceive it, then you could easily get finessed. But that's an internal accountability. That's not on anybody coming towards you. That means that sometimes we fall short, like I said, because our pride, our ego wants to know, like, you know, you say you got somebody coming back to the table that let you get away or made a different choice on you at some point in time. Your pride would want to show them what they were missing, you know, or, you know, really take the opportunity to express to them, see what you could have had all this time, or even for yourself to just see what you could have had all this time. Like, what did I miss? You know, because maybe you haven't had the chance to be intimate with this person and you kind of curious to know what it's like. Be careful. If it's not pure, it is definitely poor. And that was the world card. Yeah, I should have took it, but it didn't all the way turn over, so I'll be fair. That's too many. All right, come on, give me one more card, Spirit, and we out here. Too many. One more. Too many. I just want one more, Spirit. That was the Eight of Swords, though, being stuck in spiritual prison, which you don't want in your life. Yeah. And then we got this is someone that's going to work for it, that's going to show and prove himself to be worthy. Like, he's done, as a matter of fact, I hear he's already done the spiritual work on himself. Back to that healing aspect. It's not somebody that's just like trying to rebound and come jump ship over to your into your crystal waters because it's safe and sound over there. This is someone that has done the work on himself, that's dedicated himself to his own healing, to ultimately, what do we call it when we say to releasing karma, or I can't think of the term when we talk about ultimately just ending karmic cycles. That's what the work is put towards. When you're working on your spiritual self and on the spiritual journey, you're trying to put an end to karmic cycles and toxic cycles that are reoccurring themes in your life, lessons that you keep having to learn over and over through other relationships, through other connections, through other circumstances that show up in different people, places, and in different people and things, and in different places, even until you ultimately receive the lesson as it's been divine to learn, and take that knowledge and wisdom and apply it in a way that allows you to move forward in a fresh way, you know, to answer to your higher calling and higher self, and be healed from the reasons why you were repeating those lessons in the first place. You know, the toxicity that has followed you, perhaps from cycles of life, but certainly, I should say from lifetimes ago, but certainly from life cycles within this dimension and breadth of work, you know, that you're experiencing now in real time. This is someone that's willing to do that work, and that is the standard, you know, that is coming to the table here with something to offer. He doesn't have a handout or a cup out trying to drink from your your healing waters, you know, exclusively without adding value to that essence in some way, shape, or form. Now, yes, there's definitely always opportunity for there to be healing amongst couples, especially divine unions, for sure. But this is someone that's already showed and proved that he's willing to dedicate himself to be his best self before, you know, he's working on this offer before he's even bringing it to the table ultimately. So let's see. Yep, and that's the Queen of Swords. And oh, look at that. I didn't even mean to do that. But that's what she's waiting on. If it's not the, you know, and look, you know, here's the counterpart of the King of Swords. And her highest vibration, though, she's still looking for someone that's willing to fit into this love vibration with her. You know, that's who she wants to be married to. Someone that can be reciprocal, can be just as honorable, but also emotionally available. And in this regard, this is the expression of the Queen of Cups, as I said, operating in her discernment to hold strong boundaries, to know what is a righteous connection and what is not. And ultimately is gauged by what is leading to this expression of spiritual satisfaction and fulfillment. If it's not in alignment with this, it doesn't project itself to add value to that, to secure that, to support that, it's a no thank you, simple and plain. Yeah, okay, King of Pentacles. But look, but that's who he is. This is the high value man here. This is him elevate. This is amazing. This is him elevating himself to be that expression of, to be the worth, to feel valuable within his own right. Someone up here, if he, after having done the work, can see the true value of himself, to see himself as that gift of the divine, just as the Queen of Cups sees herself, knows that he has something great to offer, literally the highest valued man in the deck. He has something great to offer, to bring to the table, is willing to offer it, is stable and secure in his energy, and with this Ace of Cups is in agreement with, you know, his contribution and commitment to this love synergy here. That's what the purest expression of love is, holds in store for those that are willing to hold out until they see it coming in all of its splendor and all of its truth. You know, not something that kind of looks like it, or you just settle in for a little bit less. You'll just take the ten of wands because he's trying. He at least he walked away from where he was. Nah, did he heal? Has he empowered himself to take responsibility and accountability for his experiences? Has he learned the lessons? Has he turned the wheel? Has he gained self-control over his loins, even over lust? Has he elevated, ascended beyond his carnal nature, his lustful nature? Has he worked on himself diligently, not just in the material sense, somebody just working to have money? This is someone working on what they have to offer as a total package, seeing that they having the intention to be of high value to whomever they connect with, not to be a taker, but also to be a giver, a contributor to this love legacy that's being created. That's the ultimate. Nothing more, well, everything more perhaps. The Emperor would be even better in the highest vibration, but certainly nothing less. Okay, so that's the purest form of love right there with the white cards. And now I'm going to hurry up because I see my incense almost burning out, so I probably did a little too much on the white cards, but that's okay. Thank you, Empress. And now we're going to turn the tables just a bit. And I hope you can see those. I'm pretty sure you can, though. Pile number 2, pink flowers. This is your message. See what we got. Much less cards here. I probably should just, you know, just pull them. Like, I'm kind of feeling guided to do that, but we'll see. because this definitely wasn't an even split. But you know what? It's funny because actually these flowers aren't even. The pink ones are only 4. The white ones are 5 because one of the pink ones started to die a little bit sooner. It was one of the stems was out of the water. So I actually had to trash one before I could even get to this point. So it's imbalanced, I guess, within reason. So here we go. Pink pile, pile number 2, this is for you. So we got the 4 of Swords here, which is about rest. Okay. Or, well, we'll see what comes up because it could be mental exhaustion, but it usually is relenting to some rest and rejuvenation after some tough cycle perhaps, or being in meditation voluntarily, in prayer even, is having to have a sit down in some way, shape, or form. And given these are the vibrant flowers that I was talking about, I wasn't quite sure what we were getting into in terms of the message. It was very clear that white was about purity and clarity and, just having a pure perspective and essence about love, self-love particularly. This is more of a vibrant color, so maybe more of an aggressive approach perhaps than the soft approach that was coming from, the white flowers was definitely given more soft, receptive energy. So this perhaps, is more the aggressive, proactive energy of love. Self-love still, but what gets to happen in a more aggressive sense, because white was all about her being open to an offer and having to make a decision upon receipt of an offer. Perhaps this is what gets to be done maybe in preparation or in response. I don't know, we'll see, but let's see here. All right, and this is fast communication, okay? Fast movement. Yeah, this is all proactive energy right here. Very interesting. So there's a call for rest and rejuvenation, perhaps because it's in preparation for what is about to move very quickly, is what I hear. There's an opportunity for advancement in some way, and it's of an ethereal nature, so it's all good. Like, I'm not sensing anything diabolical here just yet, but this is coming from an ethereal essence or source where you're about to receive an opportunity to move, whether it be energetically so. You're about to receive communication that maybe comes in fast and furious, like unexpectedly perhaps, or an invitation to do something, to an opportunity to make a sudden movement. Whatever it is, it's big, it's expansive, it's wand energy, so it's inciting some responsive action, very much so in alignment with this proactivity of the pink flowers. So I'm feeling it. Thank you, Spirit. So now is the time to rest, or perhaps, let me see in a second, perhaps you have been resting, and what's coming quickly, perhaps sooner than you think, is this opportunity now for action. I see something flying around. Is it outside or is it in here? It's distracting me. All right, so yeah, and here we have the King of Cups, and all right, so what's this about? Is that under there? Can't see, it's so distracting now. All right, let's see what's after this 5 of Pentacles. Oh, jeez. Less cards is harder for me to shuffle personally. I don't know about you. Way too many. take that. Let's see here. Interesting. Do I want to go straight ahead? Ooh. All right, so we got we got King of Cups, the Five of Pentacles, the Emperor, and the Hierophant. These two energies here bother me. The King of Cups, I was thinking, might be some type of communication coming in from a lover. But then when this Five of Pentacles came out, I was like, oh, that can't be great. Either he's out in the cold. Oh no. This energy, All right, I'm gonna just say it how I hear it and how I see it. This is someone that has lost his way and is trying to find some happy medium back to a place of position and power by way of, and that's why it's important that you are in rest and rejuvenation. And I'm even hearing like in seclusion in a bit, in a sense, because this outside force is trying to project some poverty and despair onto you on account of what's been incurred. You got to feel me on this, because I know this might seem like left field on account, but actually it is very much in line with pile 1. What I was saying about just being mindful of how these energies are coming towards you, because everybody that presents themselves to mean good is not good. So the proactive energy is to be restful and continuously, relentlessly in prayer and meditation against these attacks. I'm hearing psychic and energetic attacks that are being, now notice, if this is you, it's going the opposite way. So in one regard, you have a lot of things that are coming in of a spiritual nature, just as I said, that are all good. That's going to be something forwarding for you. But then you have this energy here looking to kind of block that and almost send you back into this impoverished state, this despair where you're feeling left out in the cold, maybe even trying to project to you now that you don't have any options, that you are stuck. You're stagnant. You're outside of the sanctity of your spirit. There's no hope for you. You might as well give up, because ultimately they're under attack from the very energy that they're trying to expel in the first place. And the only prospect that they see for themselves is to project psychic attacks of despair, like illusions, ultimately to try to keep you energetically disconnected from your purest possibility, so that you won't take action, or that you are misaligned spiritually to miss these opportunities that are undoubtedly coming your way. Perhaps even an opportunity for love, with the King of Cups, because he is kind of separate from these two over here. There's something about these two that doesn't feel right to me, because this is the Emperor, which in the lower vibration next to this Five of Pentacles is very controlling, manipulative, and forceful, like almost a tyrant in his rule and in his tactics. The Hierophant is a collective of such, so it might even be a collective energy of compulsively controlling individuals that are wanting to keep this spirit of despair. And I'm hearing it universally now, but it could be very personal and intimate as well. But trying to maintain this position of power over the masses to keep people in this illusion of despair and disconnection and being disheartened by their lack of progress, when all the while, this is what's coming in. You may not be able to see it for the fact that you've been in prayer and meditation, and with your eyes closed and your head bowed, sometimes you don't really see what's going on around you. But I'm here to tell you that all the while it's like raining down blessings, and maybe they haven't pierced the earthly realm yet in a material sense, but it's already set. It's already coming. And those that this is like a surge of power, of passion, of of exalted potential, creativity, inspiration. It's like people are being exhumed. That's what I hear. Wow, that's a strong word. I guess from this like laid to rest position here. My God, that's strong. Like exhumed energetically from these states of despair and almost being dead. Like, when you think of winter, the dead of winter, being out in the cold, isolated, all of that. They're being brought back to life by way of this energetic force, these upgrades, this infusion of spirit, literally the Most High pouring out his spirit into the earth for those that are willing and able to receive it. These positions of power are in threat because this is what we have relented to as the masses. See the disparity here? Being poor in spirit with the Five of Swords and answering to these authorities in the land, whether they be individual authorities, what we've allowed to take precedence of power in our lives, again, intimately, or on a more universal or general perspective. And also the Hierophant is like, in its plainest sense, it's religious organizations or establishments or structures. But what I'm hearing it as how we have come to worship the authority, the assumed authorities in our lives, whether they have assumed the position or we have given them position, which is ultimately one and the same, because they can't operate in that authority unless you give it to them, unless you personally say, yes, you have this rule over me, you have this authority over me, I answer to you as a power in my life. That's people, places, and things, mind you. So this is like a changing, this is a transition that's happening where, it's almost a tug of war, because the spirit is doing the work for the evolution of all, to bring real love into the realm, and for that to take precedence and not be illusioned by these sources of power that ultimately don't mean anyone any good in terms of the advancement and evolution of the human spirit. There's only, like I said, this is a tyrant. This is a it's a collaboration of tyrants, of people that want to maintain power. As I said, it could be principalities is what I'm hearing. It could be princes or principalities. That's what I hear. Individuals in power that ultimately make up these collaborations or covens or corporations of power that have an invested interest in keeping energy down. And particularly, given the vibrance of these pink flowers, to keep the feminine energy down. Remember, the channeled message was ladies first. These are the most dominant masculine energies in the deck, ultimately, the Emperor and the Hierophant. That's what it is. And I feel like this King of Cups is only here by way of the expression of emotional manipulation. That's the way to ultimately keep a hold on the feminine energy from being exalted and expanded in her, in her highest form, by playing on her emotional state, literally keeping her in despair, feeling hopeless and faithless about the possibility of being loved in the regard that she deserves to be so. And in playing with her emotions, this is like narcissistic behavior right here. And at its worst, at its most gross form, because it's not just happening intimately, it's happening on a macro scale, where the patriarchal society that doesn't see the value in sharing the roles of responsibility and rewards as a result of with the feminine energy so readily, so voluntarily. They're holding on to dear life for all the power they can possibly possess to continue to manifest from the feminine energy, because you can't do anything without the womb. Yes, the seed is important, but you need the womb to reproduce. So there will always be a need for the feminine energy, period. But if you can keep it suppressed and unstable, then you can get just enough out of it to do what you need to do, to create, to manifest, but still maintain this higher authority of power and position to suppress it and keep it contained and in its place, in a sense. Wow. So definitely the directive is to stay prayed up, stay in meditation, stay in expectation for this change of energetic force that's undoubtedly happening. Nobody can stop it. No earthbound entity, no matter how connected they may feel to an outside source or force, because this would be the God card, but ultimately it's next to this Emperor because it's masculine energy that is unjustifiably holding a God complex, this tyrannical, these tyrannical tactics of maintaining control and power and authority and by means of oppression and suppression over forces that they ultimately don't have, don't have the right to rule over. Definitely don't have the right to manipulate. It's out of alignment with spiritual law, which is this is like I said, it just doesn't feel right. It's not stopping them from projecting the energy, but I know what's about, I know exactly. I know what's about to happen is they're about to play themselves out of position, because it's just, there's no place for that anymore. So in the ways that they want to continue to keep people possessed and obsessed, this is the energy here of feeling like, even over the masculine, that's what I'm seeing here now, is that this is a pure masculine energy in one regard that is intentional about being a loving asset, that's intentional about being in commitment and communion in a partnership. And it's like these energies are trying to keep both feminine and masculines just completely disconnected from their true nature. Remember, if you didn't watch it, I definitely encourage you to do so, but the prominent energy in the first message was the Queen of Cups. Now we got the King of Cups, the most loving king in the deck, who's intuitively intelligent and emotionally intelligent and emotionally evolved, and intentional as well. And the highest vibration also available, but it depends on the energy. But here, this is what the intention is, to keep that masculine energy suppressed, because as long as the masculine, regardless of the feminine, there's a need for both to be in their highest form. Just as I said, you can't do anything without the feminine. She's the womb, she's the reproductive source and force. You can't do anything without the seed either, and the pure seed of love, because otherwise you keep creating this toxic cycle of despair and scarcity when you keep diluting the seed and tainting the seed, so that this individual who would be loving is now afraid to love, because he's afraid of the love within himself, because his energy has been so mismanaged and bound and bruised by the illusions of society projecting to him what he should be and what he's not, what he could be, but what he ain't, what he should have, but what he doesn't, all these energies that are working to keep this, it's all about this suppression and scarcity here to keep both vibrations out in the cold, out of the sanctity of the spirit of love and the union that is sacred between the two of them, to keep them bound by their own chains of obsession, possession, insecurity, addictions, fear, mistrust, toxicity, what am I trying to say? Trauma is what I hear. To perpetuate, yes, oh my gosh, to continue to perpetuate these cycles of trauma, because that is ultimately what the powers that be and are, being of diabolical nature, demonic force, princes and principalities, can gain from the most. That is the biggest opportunity for the powers that be to maintain control over a society of people that don't know who they are, don't know their potential, and therefore aren't in alignment to attract in the highest of their potential. So they keep attracting in the lowest vibration of their potential, or rejecting connection altogether. But more so, there's always going to be some level of attraction. So if it's a continuance in the lowest form of scarcity and poverty and despair, then that's what it'll breed. And then their children's children will continue to contribute to this society as it is, this broken system as it is, because they can be controlled by their emotional state. They can be incited to make certain impulses and reactions and responses that ultimately can be funneled into some projection of power for this system that thrives on disparity and fear and horror and terror. That's the intention of the powers that were, because it's all being overturned, because too many people are being too intentional about connecting to their spiritual nature to attract and manifest their highest potential of love in a proactive sense. This is not a receptive sense. This is being proactive about love and spiritual nature, and expressing that and exposing that in a way that is influential beyond self. That's the exuberance, that proactivity, that what did I call it? Aggressive love energy that's coming from these pink flowers. So you get to resist the urge to be limited in love, feeling like you don't have anything to offer, that your past experiences are what define you, good, bad, or indifferent, So if nothing else, take the experiences as a lesson and see the highest value in them, whether they be past mistakes, misinvestments, past experiences, relationships, to put yourself in a position to make positive connections, whether they be platonic or intimate at this point. All of it matters, because if you are mismanaged in one regard, it'll spill out into everything, as the Ace of Cups does, because that's what he's rejecting, is the Ace of Cups, that divine love. So when you're in a space to be a receptive source and reciprocal force with someone that matches your vibration, that overrides this Five of Pentacles of a poverty state of mind. And that's what the powers don't want, because that will be an aggressive force of love in the earth that cannot be contained. Too many. That was a temperance with some other stuff, but it was just too many. Yeah, I'll take that though. Yeah. But their investments are, like I said, this is them. This is them. That they've invested their energy poorly in trying to continuously recreate this cycle over and over again. They aren't even happy with the results at this point, because I don't think in their inflated egos, they expected to ever lose authority over the sheep. You know, they thought that people could always be incited to resist to their fears and their egotistical impulses, to be obsessed with survival and possessed by material gain and wealth. And although that spirit is still running rampant, the devil will, you know, he got his souls, and he got more to go, you know, more to capture, you know. But in essence, there's still an imbalance of the light and the dark that is transpiring, or a rebalancing, I would say, in a sense, because it hasn't been quite as easy now that it's been in the past to continue to plant these seeds as they've been planted, because people are awakening more to their potential power than ever before, seeing themselves as the highest authority in their lives and answering to themselves as the highest calling in the earth. Even if there's a relenting or surrendering to an intangible source, they're still seeing the reflection of their own projection in that truth. You know, we're moving away from the ways of even organized religion and you know, establishments working successfully in the way of guilt and shame and oppression, where you can almost be you can really be depressed in spirit enough to believe that you really don't even have value in God's eyes, or that you're always having to work for it, and so therefore you always are. That's an energetic work that is fueling the vibration of a broken society, because if you can keep people in the guilt and shame of their natural selves and feeling unworthy, they can never be in the vibration to truly manifest or attract all that they deserve, and moving in the mindset of being of high authority and high essence and high value. They'll never be able to see themselves that way, and so they'll never again be able to, they won't see themselves as worthy to drink of the Holy Grail, the cup of the divine. You'll see yourself as worthless, and you'll always be working to prove yourself to yourself, i.e. to a higher power, on account of what illusions have been projected to you. But that seed is done. It doesn't yield the same fruit anymore as it once did. And so they're having to walk away and literally abandon those investments, because not only are they not working, they're actually backfiring. You know, that energy is backfiring, that people are starting to see beyond the veil even more so now than ever before, on account of this aggression, this the intensity to continue to plant the same old seeds and run the same old game and tricks over and over. It's like, really, dude? Like, y'all trying to you trying to convince me that we about to have a C-19 2.0? Really? You trying to tell me I need to wear a mask again when you just said the masks don't work? They're not really the most preventative in the spread of whatever. You know, you're really trying to push this issue when we've already been down this road before. Now, yes, I've been seeing masks around and about, so there are people that are still drinking the Kool-Aid, literally, you know, and I hate to say, I always am apprehensive to say they always will be, because my prayer is that one day I won't exist in a world like that. The world that I live in will be one where everyone is aware, you know, self-aware and sacredly aware of their potential in totality, you know, in spirit and in truth. And so therefore you won't be able to be finessed. And maybe this world will exist on another plane, or in tangent at the same time, in the same place, maybe perhaps the same timeline, but unaffected by one another, is my ideal society, where people that want to choose to continue to flow and contribute and create these illusions and delusions will have the right to do so, and those that choose a different path will be safe and secure to live in that way as well, where you don't have to feel like you got to protect yourself by way of the choices that you make to just be yourself. That everyone can actually live out their best or worst life on their own accord, undisturbed. That's my utopian world. Or that the lower vibration doesn't exist at all, which I don't think I will live in this lifetime to see it. But hey, who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Stranger things have happened, perhaps. But in any regard, this is not prosperous anymore, just as I already said, that they're having to abandon it, which means that the reason why you have to aggressively still be on guard is because it doesn't mean that they abandon it like, oh, we lost. No, it just means that there's a potential for there to be new advancements toward the old the old objective, that they're going away to find some new way to be an obstruction, to create the same results in a different form. I don't know if the powers that be/were will ever completely give up. Like I said, especially as long as there's still potential souls that can be possessed, by these practices. But those of us that have become aware in spirit and in truth, it's more or less up to you to not drink the Kool-Aid. This is the justice here, and this is the offering that's being made. Like I said, it's like presenting themselves as knights in shining off armor in some different way to ultimately bring the masses back to some subservient position of, to be docile again, is ultimately what it's very simple and plain. This is the justice, is that, as I said, the energies are balancing organically. It's the evolution of the universe that people are awakening, ascending, transcending, transforming, transitioning, and all of that good stuff. It cannot be stopped. These energies and their tactics are meeting that wall. They're hitting that wall. So they go away to go figure out some new way to represent themselves now as a knight in shining off armor who's offering what? A cup of love. But notice, this is the Knight of Cups, not the King, not even the cup that's being rejected here, which is the Ace. This is a Knight of Cups, which you always got to look at as a little bit funny, because there's some objective here with the Knight of Cups. He has some determination, usually to finesse, quite honestly, when it comes to the Knight of Cups. And the Page of Cups in the same is distorted in this vibration. First of all, it's childlike energy, so it's expressing exactly what I'm saying. This intention to bring independence back to codependence with the Page of Cups energy, so that people can be codependent on the so-called powers that be again in some different way, because what they're offering is some expression of sustenance, some expression of vitality. That's what the cup is an indication of. Literally spirit in that cup, life force, some means of survival is ultimately what I hear in the most practical sense, that if you do this, you'll be okay. Just trust us. We're offering you this. This is what you need in order to survive. Drink this, take this shot, wear these masks, go to these places or don't go to these places, do these things, love yourself this way, or whatever. The water is a reflective energy. So there's something that's being projected onto society yet again to make us feel like almost trustworthy of this expression of maturity and evolution that is undoubtedly happening. It's already happening. So all that can be done is to project to you some illusion that you're not quite trustworthy enough with your own energy. You're not able to sustain yourself. You can't trust your intuition. You can't trust your psychic prowess, and your emotional intuition, your intuitive nature. You should mistrust that. I'm telling you what's real here with the Knight of Cups. This is what you should really be considering. What you think, no, that's underdeveloped. You know, that's child's play. That's immature. That's tainted. That's not real. That's the projection here, that all this evolution that's happening within people's selves, their divine selves, is just some supernatural folly of sorts, that you should actually almost be ashamed of yourself for thinking that you have the authority and the right to some spiritual power, let alone supernatural power in this earth. That's ridiculous. Stay prayed up, y'all. Stay in meditation, stay in affirmation of who you are, who you're discovering yourself to be. That's the aggressive response, actually action that you get to take in protection of these tactics and offense, from a defensive and offensive perspective, because prayer is just as much offensive as it is defensive. So is meditation, because you're getting downloads and information that you wouldn't receive otherwise, going through the normal, rigmarole of your day, being projected with all this propaganda and, again, information and illusions and delusions about who you are and what your potential is and what you should be doing and what you shouldn't be doing. Like, every day there's a new message about what's right and what's wrong. It's just stay in alignment with what's righteous. Yeah. And choose the higher road. Oh, I didn't even mean to do that. Oh my goodness. This is so cool, because what came out in the beginning, at the end of the white flower message, was the King of Pentacles. This is about the Queen of Pentacles, knowing your value and maintaining that perspective. And here we are with the Ace of Cups, which I didn't mean to slip out of the deck, but obviously it meant to be seen, that this is exactly that nourishment, that vitality that the opportunistic forces would want you to reject, because that'll tell you everything you need to know about yourself. It literally is like fuel for your life force to allow you to see exactly how valuable you are in the divine eyes and in the earthly realm, that you make all the difference. This isn't just about money and material manifestation or wealth or gain. This is about vitality in spirit and in truth. That's what these two are together. Knowing where your worth is truly measured, and that it's so intangible that it can't even be measured. That the expressions of material that are manifested in real form are a pale expression of what you're truly worth in the spirit. You just happen to have money. You just happen to be financially secure and stable and sound. That's just the adverse effect of knowing who you are in spirit. That, of course, your life would then express that in some way, shape, or form. These energies have tried to create interference from this expression being divined in real time. This was the plan to do so in the lower nature, but it's on the bottom of the deck, mind you, because this is what's on the top, because this is what's most prominent right now. That this has been the plan to keep the world small and condensed and restricted and confined, and those that are in it to feel, limited, like there aren't endless possibilities, like the advantages aren't vast in the terrain, like there's only but so far and so high and so wide you can express yourself. You can venture, literally travel, trying to condense traveling. Consider the whole C-19 thing, if they start getting restrictive about that again and start wanting us to stay in the house or trying to impose these limitations again. I don't think people are going to go for it really, but that could be yet again another hatch of the plan, to start condensing people's worldview again so that they feel confined and ultimately limited. But this is the highest expression of truth as it is. To know your value, to know exactly what you're worthy to receive, almost most importantly, because you know what your potential is to offer. You know, the receptive piece is important here as opposed to the first, the white flower message, because this is speaking to you being in a position after all of this offering, you know, all of this projection that's being presented to you, to know what is yours and what is not, what truly pertains and expresses the highest value of you, and what is just an illusion that you could just, you know, throw away or just let it be for who it is. You know, like we say in the readings, take what resonates and leave what doesn't, you know, literally. You can take what resonates to you as a pure projection of power and love and prosperity and productivity, and you can leave the rest for those that want to subscribe to that way of life. It's just as simple as that. Everybody has a choice. This is the power of choice right here. You can see your world as small and condensed, and yourself as small and limited and meaningless within it, or you can see that the world is in the palm of your hands, and that there's nothing that your eyes can behold that you can't make some impact or an impression on, that there is no place in the earth that you can't travel to and make some type of and be some type of inspiration, even from sitting from right where you are in the world that we live in today, that you don't have to go anywhere to make an impact and an impression. You can be right here on this platform and reach the masses by the truth of your expression of value and prosperity. Holistically so, divinely so, as it's been ordained and anointed for you to do so. That you don't, the difference between the masculine King of Pentacles in the beginning is that, you know, given this is a ladies first reading, you know, I kind of got lost in that on this one, but to bring it back, that was the expression of whom you are waiting to receive, someone that knows their value and is intentional about projecting it. This is the expression of who you know yourself to be, and the confidence and certainty of your potential and quality of life and spirit. You know, it's been expressed to you. This is the reflection that you are the Holy Grail, that whatever seed gets to come to unite with you, to co-create with you or procreate with you, has to be a divine match and alignment for the vibration that you already possess. It's most important that you know your value before any prospect comes to light, because you're only going to be attracting from that knowing, from that certainty, you know, from that vibration that's been stabilized. And everything in the power of the so-called in the prowess of the so-called powers that be is wanting you to forget just how amazing, how blessed, how divine, how invaluable you are to society as a whole, to make you feel like a second-class citizen to the masculine energy, like, yeah, you got the womb, but we got the seed. No, we're all very much so invaluable, and any one or the other that tries to say otherwise is an abomination to creation. Ultimately, there's no place for feminine or masculine energy to exalt themselves exclusively over the other. It's for us both to know very certainly and clearly the power of our positions as we are, so that we know how limitless we are when we come together. They don't want us to know how the potential of a true power couple, one that knows their power and their potential before it's, you know, outside of any external projections. They don't want you to know that, because when you know that, you do that. When you do that, you have that, because you attract that. And when you attract that one to another, whether it be intimately or professionally, platonically, when two or three are gathered in likeness, that power is unstoppable. That force is unlimited, it's ethereal, and it's eternal. And that is the intention that we are called to maintain in the most proactive sense, in the most energetic sense, vibrant sense, and aggressive sense, to hold fast to that reality of yourself and to the respect of others, mankind alike, other women, other men, creation in general, as being a valuable contributor to this world that we're all cohabitating in together. Okay, we all matter. There's not one over the other. It is us, we together. All right, and that's the only way that we're going to move forward powerfully. Otherwise, we won't be able to sustain vitality overall. And like I said, it'll have to be a separation of realities in order for anyone to survive, because right now there's still an imbalance of dark and light. And if more people aren't allowing themselves to be called into the light of who they are righteously, not religiously, but righteously, who you feel destined and created to be, and to express that honestly and openly, we're going to all self-destruct. From the highest to the lowest, from the highest to the so-called lowest, we won't be able, the earth itself won't be able to sustain that imbalance, which is why from a universal standpoint, ethereal standpoint, we must evolve, we must ascend, we must transcend, we must transmute, we must transform, or we must transition. Simple as that. All right. So that was a wonderful message. I'm looking forward to the next one with you. I hope you definitely found some value in Pile 1 and Pile 2. And I will catch you on the next one. Until then, peace.